Are you pregnant with preeclampsia, or are you at high risk for developing preeclampsia? If so, this video is for you. My MFM and my OBGYN were like, if your blood pressure gets too out of control, it's okay, we're just going to treat you with a magnesium drip. And I was like, cool, a magnesium drip sounds great. Spoiler alert, it was not great. I wanted to come on here and share my experience so people know what to expect, because that made all the difference when I just had my daughter versus when I had my son, which was like one of the most traumatic things that has ever happened to me. When I had my son, we spent a couple of hours together and he had some blood sugar issues, so he was taken to the NICU. I had him at 37 weeks. So a few hours went by, they ran some tests, and then ultimately the doctor decided that I needed to be put on a magnesium drip. When you're on a magnesium drip, it relaxes your muscles, so you're not able to get out of bed. So you still have a catheter in, and unfortunately that means if you have a baby in the NICU, you're probably going to be separated for the next 24 hours. But those 24 hours are going to feel like a drug-induced fever dream. I had major brain fog. I wasn't comprehending what was going on. I felt like I was crawling out of my skin, and I was so hot. I got so red, I could not cool down. I had ice packs on my face. Nothing was working. I had also just had a C-section, but regardless of how you deliver your baby, you are absolutely exhausted after all of that. So when you're on magnesium for 24 hours, they are monitoring your blood pressure every hour. I was literally crashing out. I was so exhausted and I could not sleep because every hour they were coming in to do my vitals. I don't know if this is common, but with my son, I also wasn't able to eat anything, so I was feeling very physically weak also. And then on top of feeling the most physically weak I felt in my life and the most exhausted I felt in my life, I was just completely crashing out because I was separated from my baby. I didn't know what was going on with him. My husband was running back and forth between the two of us. But, you know, it's like your biological instinct. You want to be with your baby. So the 24 hours pass, and at that point it's time to take me off magnesium. And then something happened that the nurses said they had never seen before. My blood pressure completely plummeted, and at 79/49, I almost fainted. So then they were giving me stuff to bring my blood pressure up so that I could take pain medicine, because at this point they had pulled me off narcotics because they were worried about the impact it would have on my blood pressure. After getting off of magnesium, it took about another 8 hours, and then I was finally able to go see my son, and I was in such incredible pain, and I wasn't able to be on narcotics because my blood pressure had been so low. They didn't want it to go any lower until I could be in a bed and be monitored. So my choice was either stay away from my son for another couple of hours and get monitored, or go be with my baby in the NICU. So horribly traumatizing. With my daughter, I was put on the magnesium. I knew that it was going to be not so great. I wasn't going to be feeling good, but I had downloaded a book and I was ready to pass time for those 24 hours. She was with me for most of the day after delivery, but then they ended up taking her to the NICU as a precaution because her blood pressure or her blood sugar was 1 point under what it needed to be. So they just wanted to monitor her for a little bit. It was still really, really rough being away from her, but because I knew what to expect, I was able to distract myself, and I wasn't getting so caught up in when am I going to finally see my baby? Am I ever going to see my baby? I think overall it would have been a much better experience the first time if I had known that I was going to get put on magnesium for 24 hours, not be able to get out of bed, and if my baby was in the NICU, that we would be separated. So for any moms that are pregnant and possibly about to go through this, just make sure to ask enough questions so that you are properly prepared for what you're going to be like on magnesium, know what to expect in terms of if your baby goes to the NICU, but hang in there. You will get through it. Just distract yourself.